Nobody saw this coming, not even the cast themselves, when rumors first broke that Kirk Frost and Mendeecees Harris, two men from completely different love and hip-hop worlds, were secretly teaming up for a brand new reality project. Fans went into total meltdown. It wasn't just the idea of a collab, it was the mystery behind it. What could possibly bring these two together? After years of tension, jealousy, and public feuds, sources close to VH1 say this wasn't supposed to leak yet, but once that blurry photo of Kirk and Mendeecees walking out of a Midtown Atlanta studio hit social media, everything exploded. One fan tweeted, quote, "If Kirk and Mendeecees are filming something together, I just know Rashida and Yandi are not happy right now." And honestly, that one comment might not be far from the truth. Because behind the cameras there's real chaos brewing. Insiders claim Rashida felt blindsided by Kirk's sudden partnership, especially because she wasn't part of the initial pitch, while Yandi reportedly warned Mendeecees that working with Kirk could reignite old drama between their families and castmates. The streets are talking, the blogs are running wild, and producers are staying suspiciously quiet. But here's where it gets even more unbelievable. According to a production insider who spoke exclusively off the record, the show's working title is allegedly Second Chance Empire, a docu-style reality crossover that follows Kirk and Mendeecees as they rebuild their legacies from scandal to success. But the twist: they won't just be rebuilding their reputations. They'll be managing new artists under one label together. Imagine that: Kirk Frost, known for his controlling business deals, and Mendeecees Harris, known for his street-smart hustle, in the same room trying to run a label together. What could possibly go wrong? The moment the leak spread, both men went silent on social media. No posts, no comments, no denials. Even Mona Scott-Young, the mastermind behind the Love and Hip Hop franchise, has refused to comment when TMZ's tile outlets reached out, but insiders claim she's secretly executive producing the entire thing, which only raises more questions. Is this a spin-off? Is it a reboot? Or is it a completely new series designed to compete with VH1 itself? And while fans are still debating the authenticity of the footage, something else surfaced: a voice note supposedly between Kirk and a mystery producer leaked online last night, where Kirk can be heard saying, quote, "We're not doing this for ratings, we're doing this to show we're bosses." And Mendeecees adds, "Yeah, but once people see us together, they gonna think we plotting against them." Both men laugh, but the tone is serious. This isn't just a collaboration, it's a power move, a strategic alliance that could change everything for the entire Love and Hip Hop franchise and beyond. Meanwhile, Rashida reportedly packed up and left their home for a few days after finding out about Kirk's secret meetings, and Yandi allegedly called Mona demanding to know why she wasn't informed earlier. The family group chats are on fire, producers are scrambling, and now everyone's asking the same question: what exactly are Kirk and Mendeecees hiding? What's the real purpose of this show, and how far will they go to prove that they're more than just reality TV husbands? Stay tuned, because what's happening behind those closed studio doors might just be the most unexpected collaboration in reality TV history. And trust me, the drama has only just begun. When the first camera lights hit the Atlanta skyline, Kirk Frost stood outside the studio parking lot in total silence. He had that look the one fans know too well: jaw, tight eyes, low phone in hand, like he was carrying a secret too heavy to drop. Mendeecees pulled up seconds later in a black SUV, music blasting through the tinted windows. When he stepped out, the tension was real too. Men who'd lived their lives in front of cameras now standing face to face again, but this time not as rivals, not as castmates from different shows, but as partners in something the world wasn't ready for. Kirk said low and careful, "You sure you wanna do this, bro?" Mendeecees smirked, "Ain't no turning back now, the paper's already signed." That's when you could feel it, the start of something bigger than either of them could control. The producers were already inside, cameras rolling, crew whispering about the leak that hit Instagram the night before. Mona Scott's assistant was pacing back and forth, phone glued to her ear. "We can't stop filming now, the buzz is too big, we ride this wave," she said. Kirk walked past her straight to the director and muttered, "No more fake storylines this time, this one's real." Mendeecees added, "Real enough to burn bridges." And he wasn't lying, because behind them two storms were already forming: Rashida in Atlanta fuming over the secrecy, and Yandi in New York replaying that leaked clip over and over, trying to make sense of it all. "Rashida called Kirk that morning, so you just gonna start a whole show without telling me?" she snapped. Kirk's tone was calm, but cold. "It's business, baby. You run Prest, I run Frost. I had to move fast." She went silent, then said, "Business, don't mean betrayal. Kirk, you keep chasing spotlight while your marriage breaks on camera." Again he sighed. "You think I'm doing this for fame? I'm doing it so we can eat forever." But the line went dead. She'd hung up. Meanwhile, Yandi threw her phone across the couch, yelling, Why wouldn't he tell me first? He always says no more surprises. Mendeecees' cousin sitting nearby shook his head. He trying to boss up sis, this ain't personal but for Yandi, it was the first day of shooting. Didn't go smooth. Kirk and Mendeecees had different visions. Kirk wanted polished business meetings, contracts, lights and luxury cars. Mendeecees wanted authenticity, gritty real conversations, about mistakes and redemption. Kirk snapped, bro, people wanna see success, not struggle. Mendeecees fired back, they wanna see truth, not perfection. The argument got so heated, producers had to step in. Mona Scott herself joined the call saying, gentlemen, if you wanna make history, you can't start with ego. They went quiet, but the tension hung heavy outside the studio. Fans had already gathered, paparazzi, flashing lights, shouting questions. Kirk, is this a spin-off? Mendeecees, you leaving Yandi? Kirk gave no comment, but Mendeecees turned to one camera and said, y'all gonna find out soon enough. That clip alone racked up 2 million views in 24 hours, but what fans didn't know was that something deeper was happening. Both men were battling ghosts from their past. Kirk still haunted by cheating scandals and business rumors, Mendeecees trying to prove he was more than his prison record, both men desperate for redemption through television. Later that night they sat together at a diner downtown. Kirk stirred his coffee quietly. You ever feel like they just waitin' for us to fail? Mendeecees nodded. Every day, but that's why we gotta control the story this time, not let them twist it. Kirk leaned back, so you cool with bringing cameras into your family again? Mendeecees looked out the window. Only if it means my sons see me doing something positive. Kirk smiled faintly. Then we in this, for the same reason, legacy. Meanwhile, back home Rashida was venting to K. Michelle on FaceTime. He didn't even tell me, I had to find out from the blogs. Can you believe that? K. Michelle laughed. Girl, that's Kirk for you always. Got a secret project that turns into a scandal, you better get ready for headlines. Rashida groaned. I'm tired of being headlines, I just wanted peace. K. Michelle said peace don't trend, baby, chaos does, and you married the king of chaos. That line hit hard because deep down Rashida knew she'd built her brand, surviving Kirk's storms, but this time it felt different in New York. Yandi sat in her living room with Mendeecees' mom, who whispered, child, you know how he is when he gets an idea, let him get it out his system, he'll come back. Yandi sighed. But it's not just about a show, it's about trust. He promised transparency, and now I gotta watch my husband team up with Kirk Frost of all people. She rubbed her temples. Lord, this reality life never ends. The second day of filming got even more dramatic. Kirk brought in a new artist to audition, a fiery young rapper named Araya, who reminded everyone of an early Rashida, confident, bold, loud with bars that shook the room. Mendeecees was impressed, but Kirk was skeptical. She sound good, but she gotta learn business. To Araya shot back, maybe y'all old heads should learn to let women run it for once. The crew gasped. Mendeecees grinned. I like her fire. Kirk rolled his eyes. See, this the problem with new artists, all mouth, no patience. Araya clapped back. And the problem with you is you don't trust nobody but yourself. Kirk stood up. You done auditioning? But Mendeecees stopped him. Nah, let her finish. She spit one last verse, raw, emotional and full of pain. The room went silent. Even Kirk had to nod slightly. Alright, you got potential. But don't disrespect me again. Later that clip went viral, titled Kirk Frost Gets Checked by Female Rapper on Set. Millions of views overnight. Comments flooded in, fans saying this new show already looks messy, and Mona Scott got another hit brewing. But while fans were loving it, Rashida wasn't. She posted a cryptic message on Instagram. Loyalty should never come second to business, and everyone instantly connected it to Kirk. Even Mendeecees commented under the post, respect that queen, which only fueled speculation that alliances were shifting behind the scenes. By the end of that week, rumors started spreading that VH1 executives were furious. They hadn't approved this spin-off. Kirk told Mendeecees, if they mad, that means we doing something right. Mendeecees chuckled, or we about to get sued. Kirk smirked. Either way, we trending. But privately both men were nervous. Leaked emails suggested VH1 might file an injunction to stop production until contracts were reviewed. Mona told them, let me handle it, but y'all stay out of the press. Too late, because TMZ just dropped an article titled VH1 Stars Go Rogue with Unauthorized Project, and that's when the calls started pouring in from castmates, from managers, from family, everyone wanting to know what was really going on. One night Kirk sat alone in his car, scrolling through comments, thousands of fans calling him manipulative, unfaithful, attention-seeking. He sighed deeply. No matter what I do, they never forget the past. Then he looked at his phone wallpaper, a photo of Rashida smiling during better days. He whispered, I'm doing this for us, baby. But somewhere across town Rashida was saying the opposite. He's doing this for himself. At that same moment, Mendeecees sat with his kids watching old clips from Love and Hip Hop. See, that's why daddy trying something new. He told them, I want y'all to see me doing something positive. His oldest nodded. But mom said, you keeping secrets again. He went quiet for a long time before replying. Some secrets are just plans before they're ready to be told. Little did he know those plans were about to explode in public view. The following morning, producers called both men to an emergency meeting. Someone leaked footage from day one to a gossip blog. Kirk slammed the table. Who keeps leaking this stuff? Mendeecees shook his head. Somebody inside wants us to fail. Mona's voice came through speakerphone. Then give them a reason to watch instead of speculate. We control the narrative now, Kirk muttered, or the narrative controls us, Mendeecees replied. Not this time, we writing our own story. And with that they both stood ready to keep filming despite the chaos swirling around them, unaware that the next episode would bring a betrayal that would shake both families to their core. By the time the sun rose over Atlanta the next day, the air around the studio was thick with tension. Cameras were being tested, mics were being clipped on, and Kirk Frost was already pacing the hallway, phone in hand, his voice low but sharp. No, we can't push the shoot back. The buzz is peaking. If we stop now, we lose everything. On the other side of the room, Mendeecees sat quietly scrolling through social media headlines blasting across his screen. Kirk and Mendeecees, new show already in chaos. Rashida and Yandi, furious over secret collab. It was exactly the kind of attention they wanted, except now it felt like a trap. Kirk finally looked up. You good, bro? Mendeecees exhaled. I'm good, but I'm starting to think we moving too fast. Kirk smirked. Fast is the only speed that works in this game. He didn't know, that same moment, Yandi had already booked a flight to Atlanta hours later. A black SUV pulled up outside the set door, and when Yandi stepped out, the crew froze. She walked in wearing sunglasses, no smile, no greeting, just that quiet fire that said someone was about to get checked. Kirk saw her first. Oh, here we go, he muttered under his breath. She marched straight to Mendeecees. So this is where the secrets live, huh? The room went dead silent. Mendeecees stood up, trying to stay calm. Yandi, it's not like that. We were gonna tell you, after she cut him off. After what? After TMZ told the world. Kirk looked between them. Look, this ain't personal, it's business. Yandi turned on him. Oh, it's personal when you drag my husband into another Frost mess. Kirk raised his hands. Come on now, don't act like your man ain't grown. He made the call. The producer motioned for cameras to roll because even though it wasn't planned, it was pure gold. Yandi didn't care. She looked right into one of the cameras. This right here is what happens when men chase fame instead of family. Mendeecees grabbed her arm gently. Yo, stop, this ain't the time. She jerked away. The time is now, Mendeecees, because you forgot what we built together. Kirk tried to de-escalate. Look, Yandi, we just tryna show brothers can rebuild from the ground up, you know, make something positive. She laughed coldly. Positive? You got Rashida crying on Instagram and me flying across states, you call that positive? Back in Atlanta, Rashida was on her own set filming for another show when her assistant whispered, Yandi just showed up to Kirk's shoot. Rashida's face dropped. Oh Lord, here it comes. She texted Kirk. You better handle that before it hits the blogs. But it was already too late. Someone had leaked a 10-second clip of Yandi confronting them inside the studio. By the time Kirk checked Twitter, it was trending worldwide. Hashtag YandiYVs Frost. Mona Scott Young watched the chaos unfold from her office in New York, grinning slightly. She turned to her assistant. They think they going rogue, but I've been 10 steps ahead. I greenlit that scene yesterday. Her assistant asked, so you planned this? Mona smiled. Baby, this is reality TV. Nothing happens by accident. She picked up the phone and called Kirk. Keep the cameras rolling. This might just be your pilot episode. Kirk sighed. Mona, you playing with fire? She replied, and fire cells. Baby, now go make me magic. As filming resumed, the crew decided to turn the tension into a full-on intervention scene. Mendeecees sat between Kirk and Yandi, trying to explain his vision. This ain't about fame, this about rewriting our stories. We both came from the mud. People see the worst of us on TV. We trying to flip that. Yandi crossed her arms. You don't rewrite your story by lying to your wife. Kirk leaned forward. So you saying a man can't build something for himself without permission? She glared at him. A man with a family builds with transparency, not with secrets. The room went quiet again. Kirk's phone buzzed. He looked down and saw Rashida's name flash on screen. He didn't answer. Yandi noticed that she asked, you gonna keep dodging the truth? Kirk put the phone down. This ain't the time. She shook her head. Oh, it's always the time when the world watching. And with that she walked out, leaving Mendeecees speechless. Kirk looked at him. Bro, I told you this was gonna get messy? Mendeecees nodded slowly. Yeah, but I didn't think it'd hit home this fast. Later that night, Kirk finally called Rashida. She didn't pick up, so he left a voicemail. Look, I know you mad, but I need you to understand. This ain't about betrayal, it's about building something real. I need you by my side, not against me. He hung up, staring at the wall for a long time, then whispered, "Why does success always feel like a sin?" Mendeecees, meanwhile, sat on his hotel balcony when Yandi walked in, still angry but softer this time. "I just don't get it. You say you doing this for us, but it don't feel like us." He looked up. "Because sometimes I gotta move before the world moves on without me." She sighed. "You don't need to prove yourself to anyone, not Kirk, not Mona, not VH1. You already changed your story." He took her hand. "Then help me finish it, don't fight me through it." She didn't answer, but she didn't leave either. The next day, Mona arrived on set, in-person camera crews doubled up, lighting rigs everywhere. She walked in like a general before war. "All right everyone, this is history in the making, we turning controversy into content today." Kirk rolled his eyes. "You make it sound easy," she laughed. "It is easy when people can't look away." She gathered the main cast. "Today, we shooting the first official promo. Seeing you two will announce the show name and mission." Mendeecees nodded. "Got it," Kirk said, "as long as the focus stays business." Mona smiled. "Baby, on reality TV, business and drama share the same bed." When the red light blinked, they both faced the camera. Kirk started, "We came from different cities, different paths, but we share one goal, building legacies." Mendeecees added, "This show ain't about gossip, it's about growth, redemption, and giving new artists a shot at greatness." Kirk smiled. "Together, we call it Second Chance Empire." Applause from crew, but the moment ended fast, because just as they wrapped, a producer whispered something into Mona's ear. Her smile faded. "We got a problem." She turned to Kirk. "VH1 just sent a legal notice. They claiming the show violates exclusivity clauses." Kirk's jaw tightened. "They bluffing, they can't stop what they didn't create." Mendeecees frowned. "Nah, this could get real messy, legally messy." Mona paced. "We can stall them for a bit, but you two need to stay off social media. No more leaks, no more cryptic posts. We gotta move smart now." Kirk smirked. "Moving smart ain't never been my strong suit." Mendeecees laughed. "No kidding." Meanwhile, fans were losing their minds. Every gossip page was posting updates. Some claiming Rashida was filing separation papers, others saying Yandi had dropped out of the project completely. Hashtags everywhere. Hashtag Second Chance Empire. Hashtag KIRK, VSYANDY. Hashtag Mend and Frost. A fan tweeted, "This show ain't even out yet, and it's already giving season 10 level drama." That evening, Kirk and Mendeecees went live together for the first time to control the narrative. Kirk said, "Y'all can believe what you want, but this show is about brotherhood and redemption, not beef." Mendeecees added, "Facts, and we ain't running from nobody, not networks, not rumors, not haters." Fans flooded the chat with comments, some supportive, others savage. One said, "Brotherhood? You mean betrayalhood?" Another wrote, "This collab got more drama than the actual show." But behind the confident smiles, both men knew things were unraveling faster than they could fix. Kirk turned off his phone after the live. "Bro, this might blow up bigger than we planned." Mendeecees nodded. "Yeah, but that's what makes it legendary." Kirk looked at him. "Legendary or disastrous, we'll find out soon enough." Neither of them knew that the next day someone from inside the production would leak a private phone call that would threaten to destroy the entire collaboration before it even aired. The morning after that, the whole crew woke up to chaos, notifications blowing up, phones ringing, producers shouting in panic. A full audio leak had hit the internet titled "Kirk Frost, Secret Call with Mona Scott." Leaked. Fans everywhere were losing their minds. The clip was short but deadly. Kirk's voice could clearly be heard saying, "Look, if Mendeecees starts getting too soft in front of cameras, we might need to spice it up, maybe throw a little argument in there, make him react." Mona's voice replied, calm and calculated, "I know how to make TV, Kirk, but you better make sure Yandi don't catch wind of that." She flipped. Then laughter followed. That was all it took. Within minutes, the blogs ran headlines, "Kirk plotting behind Mendeecees' back, Mona caught manipulating storylines again." Second Chance Empire already scripted mess. When Mendeecees saw the leak, he froze. He replayed it 3 times just to be sure, then slammed his phone on the table. "Nah, this ain't real. This can't be real." Kirk walked in moments later. "You heard it, huh?" Mendeecees shot him a look. "Tell me it's fake." Kirk swallowed hard. "It's out of context, bro. You know how they cut these clips." Mendeecees stood up. "Out of context? You straight said spice it up if I get too soft. Are you serious right now?" Kirk tried to calm him. "Listen, the producers was asking about tone. I was just talking creative direction, that's it." Mendeecees shook his head. "Nah man, you play too many games with people's lives. I'm out here trying to rebuild my name, and you turning it into another circus." The cameras were rolling even though no one gave the cue. The raw anger in that room was unreal. Kirk said, "You think I want drama? Man, I'm trying to sell a show without giving them the same old cheating storyline they always want, Mendeecees snapped. Then don't build your success off betrayal again, his voice cracked the whole crew went silent for a long time. Kirk finally said, so what you wanna do, quit? Mendeecees turned away. Maybe I should. He walked out, slamming the door behind him, leaving Kirk standing there with nothing but his own guilt echoing through the room. Within hours, that confrontation footage got leaked to somehow. One of the assistant editors had uploaded it to a gossip page. Fans started taking sides, half blaming Kirk for being manipulative, the other half calling Mendeecees too sensitive. Even Rashida jumped in with a cryptic post saying karma don't call, she just shows up, while Yandi went live on Instagram, crying, saying, I begged him not to trust Kirk, but he always sees the good in people, maybe too much good. Comments exploded instantly. Justice for Mendeecees was trending by noon. Mona called an emergency meeting. We can't let this go nuclear before the pilot airs, she told Kirk. You need to fix this right now, call him. Apologize, whatever it takes. Kirk sat back, rubbing his temples. He ain't picking up my calls, I already tried. Mona leaned forward. Then show up in person, do something big, make it real. We can't have one half of the show walking off before we even finish shooting. Kirk muttered, you always got a way to turn disaster into content. Mona grinned. That's why they call me the queen of reality. So Kirk did what Kirk always does. He pulled up unannounced cameras hidden in the van outside Mendeecees' Atlanta rental house. He knocked on the door, hard no answer. He knocked again. Finally Mendeecees opened, wearing a hoodie, eyes tired. What do you want, man? Kirk said, I came to make it right. Mendeecees looked suspicious. Right, or ratings? Kirk shook his head. Nah bro, for real, I messed up. That clip sound bad, but it ain't what I meant, you know. How I talk business to blunt sometimes. Mendeecees leaned against the doorframe. You still don't get it, this ain't business to me. This my name, this my wife, my kids, they watching everything we do. Kirk nodded, and that's why we gotta finish strong, show them brothers can argue and still build together. For a long time, neither spoke. Then Mendeecees said quietly, you know what hurts the most? I actually believed this could be something different. Kirk replied, it still can, but we gotta move as one, you and me, not against each other. Mendeecees finally nodded. All right, one last shot, but we doing it my way, real stories, no fake fights, no producer drama. Kirk smiled. Deal, then added jokingly. But we might need one small argument to keep them watching. Mendeecees laughed, despite himself. Man, you never learn that. Moment went viral too because Mona leaked it herself, using it as damage control. Fans started saying maybe they really are brothers now. The tide began to shift, support flooded in, but Rashida wasn't celebrating. She watched the clip quietly from her boutique in Atlanta, shaking her head. He always finds a way to charm the world, but never me. Her assistant asked, you gonna go support him on set? She sighed, not this time. Let him see what it feels like to do it alone. A week later, production resumed, bigger than ever. New artists joining, new storylines forming. One episode focused on Kirk and Mendeecees mentoring young rappers from broken neighborhoods, teaching them how to build brands without the street life. The footage was raw, emotional, heartfelt. One kid broke down crying, saying, nobody ever believed in me till now. And for the first time, viewers saw a softer side of both men. Kirk wiping tears quietly, Mendeecees giving the kid a chain, saying, this ain't about fame, this about family. That episode became the emotional backbone of the entire project. But peace never lasts long in reality TV. 2 days later, a gossip blog dropped another bomb, claiming one of the new female artists, Araya, had secretly been messaging Kirk after hours, allegedly sending him unreleased tracks and flirty emojis. The screenshots spread like wildfire. Rashida saw them before Kirk did. She texted him just one line, so this is what empire looks like, huh? Kirk panicked, calling immediately, baby, that's fake, they edited those messages. She didn't respond. He paced the trailer, muttering, not again, not this time. When Mendeecees found out, he confronted Kirk. Bro, you need to lock this down before it blows up. She's young, this could ruin everything. Kirk slammed his hand on the table. I didn't do nothing, man, they just want another scandal to feed on. Mendeecees replied, yeah, but perception is reality. In this game you should know that better than anyone. Kirk glared, you sound just like them. Mendeecees said calmly, maybe because I've seen what they do to people who don't play clean. The next morning, paparazzi caught Rashida leaving their house with luggage, reporters shouting, Rashida, are you leaving Kirk for good? She didn't answer, but the look on her face said everything. Kirk saw the footage online. Hours later, he threw his phone across the studio wall, shouting, I can't win no matter what I do. Mendeecees walked in, you gotta fix it before she walks out forever. Kirk sat down, head in hands. I don't even know where to start, Mendeecees replied. Start with honesty, it's the only card you got left. That night, Kirk drove to their old restaurant. Frost Bistro found Rashida sitting alone in a booth. She didn't even look up. When he sat across, you got something to say, or you here for another storyline? He whispered, I'm here to say I'm sorry for everything. I keep breaking what I'm trying to build. She looked up finally. Then maybe stop building everything on your own terms. Silence filled the air. Then Rashida added, I don't hate you, Kirk, I just don't trust you anymore. Meanwhile, Yandi called Mendeecees, watching everything unfold from New York City. I told you, he'd drag you into another mess. Now you both in headlines again. Mendeecees said, nah, this time we cleaning it up, not running from it. She sighed. I hope you're right, because this empire thing's starting to feel like a curse. He replied, or maybe it's just the test before the blessing. She smiled softly. You always find words to make me believe again. As the cameras kept rolling, the story deepened. Not just a show about two men, but about families, trust, loyalty, and the price of redemption. And somewhere in the middle of that chaos, Kirk Frost and Mendeecees Harris started realizing they weren't just filming reality TV anymore. They were living it. Every mistake, every apology, every moment of truth caught forever on tape, and the world couldn't stop watching. 2 weeks later, the world couldn't stop talking about Second Chance Empire. Every gossip blog, every talk show, every podcast had something to say. Ratings from the leaked pilot teaser had already broken records. Even VH1, who once threatened to sue, was now reportedly considering buying the show back just to air it under their network. Kirk Frost was standing on the studio balcony, early morning coffee in hand, city lights fading into sunrise. He exhaled. Funny how they all hate you until they need you again. Mendeecees joined him quiet for a moment before saying, nah bro, it's not hate, it's fear. They scared of seeing us win without them. Kirk nodded, maybe, but this winning feels heavier than losing. Sometimes the producers were setting up for one of the most emotional shoots yet, a sit-down reunion between Kirk, Rashida, Yandi, and Mendeecees. No scripts, no prompts, just raw conversation, the kind fans hadn't seen since Love and Hip Hop's golden days. When Mona Scott arrived, she told the crew, don't stop rolling no matter what happens today. Kirk looked nervous, rubbing his hands together. She gonna kill me on camera? Mona smirked, then let her. That's the good TV. When Rashida walked in, the set went silent. She looked stunning but cold, her tone steady. So this what you called me here for, another public apology? Kirk tried to smile. Nah, I called you here to tell you, I'm not perfect, but I'm still yours if you'll have me. Rashida crossed her arms. You said that line before, Kirk, on like 3 different seasons. Mendeecees chuckled under his breath, but Yandi elbowed him. Not funny, Rashida continued. The problem is, you keep saying it but you never change, Kirk said. Then let me prove it. This show ain't about fame, it's about fixing what fame broke. Yandi jumped in. Fixing means honesty. Kirk, you can't fix what you keep hiding. Kirk looked down. I know, and I ain't hiding anymore. I messed up. I said things I shouldn't have. I let producers twist my words, but I ain't plotting behind nobody, Mendeecees added. He's right, we both learning to separate real from reality. Yandi sighed. Yeah, but that line keeps getting thinner every day. The cameras zoomed in close. Rashida's eyes softened. You really want a second chance? Kirk nodded. More than any deal, more than any show. She hesitated, then whispered, then stop performing and start being. Kirk took her hand slowly. The room held its breath. I never stopped being yours. She blinked back, tears, and for a rare moment the world saw them not as reality stars, but as two people trying to survive the glare of fame. Meanwhile, Mendeecees looked at Yandi. So, where we stand? She laughed softly. We stand right here together, like always, but next time you got a secret show, call me before the blogs do. He grinned. Deal. She leaned in and kissed his cheek. You lucky, I still like you. Mona watched from behind the monitor, whispering to her assistant, this is gold. Real emotion sells better than scandal. Every time the assistant asked, so what's next? Mona smiled. Now, we flipped the story from controversy to comeback, but peace didn't last long again. 2 nights later, a new scandal hit social media. A behind-the-scenes crew member posted footage of Mona and Kirk arguing in a hallway, her voice sharp. You can't just decide storylines on your own. I run this show, Kirk shouted back. Nah, this time I'm producing too. I'm not your puppet anymore, she fired back. You wouldn't even have a show if it wasn't for me, Kirk replied, and you wouldn't have ratings if it wasn't for me. He walked off, leaving Mona fuming. The post racked up millions of views, fans commenting, Kirk versus Mona, the real showdown. Mendeecees tried to keep things calm. Bro, you can't fight the person who made you. Kirk laughed bitterly. She don't make me, she just recorded me while I made mistakes. But Mona wasn't done. She leaked an internal email proving Kirk had contacted another network behind her back, trying to sell distribution rights. That betrayal hit harder than anything, yet Mendeecees confronted him. Bro, tell me you didn't do that. Kirk hesitated. I was trying to secure us a better deal, Mendeecees yelled without telling Mona. That's suicide, man. She built this empire, Kirk said quietly. Then maybe it's time we build our own. The fallout was immediate. Mona halted production until contracts were renegotiated. Social media divided again, some calling Kirk a visionary, others calling him greedy. Rashida stayed silent through it all until she finally posted a single sentence on Instagram: loyalty is louder than contracts. Millions of likes. Instantly Yandy commented under it. A week passed before Mona finally called a truce. She gathered everyone for a tense meeting. Look, I've built stars before but never seen anyone turn chaos into opportunity like you two. So here's my offer. We finish the season my way, but you both get producer credits. Deal? Kirk and Mendeecees exchanged looks. Kirk said, we just want control over how our families are shown. Mona nodded. Done, but remember, once the cameras roll, truth becomes interpretation. Production resumed bigger than ever, crews flying between Atlanta and New York, fans flooding locations, paparazzi chasing cars. Second Chance Empire was now officially greenlit, and the buzz was global, blogs claiming Netflix was eyeing a spin-off deal. Kirk walked through the set with a new swagger, Mendeecees beside him. See bro, we made it. Mendeecees smirked. Yeah, but we still got more to prove. Kirk looked up at the lights. Nah, we just gotta live it now. On the final week of shooting, the crew filmed a massive concert-style finale, both men bringing their artists together on one stage. Kirk introduced Araya, who performed her debut single Raw and Emotional, the same girl who once clashed with him. Now hugging him on stage, saying thank you for believing in me even when you didn't. He laughed. Yeah, I had to learn to listen first. Mendeecees stepped up next with his artist, a young singer from the Bronx, performing a tribute track about redemption. Tears filled the crowd. Kirk whispered to him, this the moment right here, the one they can't fake. Mendeecees nodded. This what we came for. But just as the crowd cheered, someone backstage handed Mona a phone. Her face turned serious. Oh, she said, we got a problem again. Kirk noticed. What now? She turned the screen toward him. A breaking news alert reading: VH1 files lawsuit against Frost Harris Productions for breach of contract. Kirk muttered, they couldn't wait till we finish airing, huh? Mona sighed. Welcome to the price of success. The finale went on anyway, fireworks booming, confetti raining down. Kirk grabbed the mic. This ain't just our second chance, it's a second chance for anybody whoever got counted out. The crowd screamed. Mendeecees shouted, we not perfect, but we still standing. That's what empire means. Rashida smiled in the audience, wiping a tear. Yandy clapped proud. The cameras captured everything, fans at home losing their minds on social media. Hashtag Second Chance Empire trending #1 worldwide. Later that night, after the crowd dispersed, Kirk and Mendeecees sat backstage. Exhausted but proud, Kirk said, we really did it, huh? Mendeecees smiled. Yeah bro, we turned pain into purpose. Kirk laughed. And profit too, don't forget that part. They both burst out laughing, then fell silent, watching the empty stage lights dimming slowly. Kirk whispered, for once it feels like we finally got it right. Mendeecees nodded. Yeah, till the next season drops. What neither of them knew was that a hidden camera had caught a brief moment during rehearsal earlier that day, where Mona was overheard telling a crew member, next season we flip the story. Maybe Rashida finds out something new, maybe Yandy gets her own spin-off. Keep the tension alive, proving that even when they thought the story was ending, the drama was only just beginning. 2 days after the finale wrapped, Atlanta was buzzing. The city hadn't seen that kind of energy since the early Love and hip-hop days. Every corner shop, every barber chair, every salon was talking about Kirk Frost and Mendeecees Harris, the two men who went from controversy to comeback overnight. The pilot teaser for Second Chance Empire had already hit 10 million views, and networks were fighting for the rights. But behind the celebration, another storm was forming. Kirk sat alone at his restaurant, scrolling through his phone. A new headline caught his eye. Exclusive leaked messages show Kirk Frost negotiating solo spin-off without Mendeecees. His jaw clenched. Nah man, not again, he whispered under his breath. Within an hour, Mendeecees saw it too. He was in New York getting ready for a radio interview when his manager handed him the phone. You? Seeing this, Mendeecees stared at the screen, heart sinking. The screenshots looked real. Kirk messaging a producer from a rival network saying, if we separate the brand from VH1 we can launch Frost Empire Season 2, with or without them. Mendeecees shut the phone. I can't believe this dude, after everything we built. Back in Atlanta, Kirk's phone started blowing up. Mona, calling producers, texting Rashida. Calling nonstop. He finally picked up Mona's call. You trying to kill the deal before it airs? She shouted. Kirk paced. That message was from months ago, before we even made up. It ain't real now, Mona snapped. Doesn't matter, perception is everything, and right now you look like a snake again. Kirk slammed his hand on the counter. Why they always believe the worst version of me. She sighed. Because you keep giving them headlines. Rashida arrived minutes later, walking straight past the staff, eyes blazing. So you really trying to run a solo show behind everyone's back again? Kirk threw his hands up. Baby, no, that's old, it's edited. They twisting my words. She cut him off. Same story every time, Kirk. Always some excuse, always some twist, always you playing victim. Kirk's voice cracked. I'm telling you, I didn't do this time. She shook her head. You've said that line in every season of our lives. Then walked out, leaving Kirk frozen. Meanwhile, in New York, Mendeecees decided to go live for his fans. I don't know what's true yet, but I'm tired of being blindsided. I've always moved with loyalty and transparency. If someone breaking that bond again, y'all gonna see the truth soon. Fans flooded the comments. Kirk did it again. Mendeecees, don't trust him. Yandy warned you within an hour. Hashtag Frost betrayal was trending. Kirk called Mendeecees 20 times, no answer. He finally sent a text. Bro, please talk to me. This ain't what it looks like. No reply. He tried again. We built this together, don't let them ruin it. Still silence. At midnight, his phone buzzed. A voicemail from Mendeecees. I ain't got nothing to say right now. If it's true, I'm done. If it's not, prove it. Kirk exhaled slowly, whispering. Guess that's my cue to fix it. The next morning, Kirk drove to the production office, demanding to see Mona. I need that footage from the finale. I'm gonna clear my name. Mona raised a brow. How? He said, by showing what really happened behind the scenes. How I turned down the solo offer months ago. Before we even reconciled. She sighed. You sure you want that aired? Kirk nodded. Let the world see it all. I'm tired of hiding. She finally agreed. Fine, but once it's out there, there's no coming back. Whatever truth they see becomes permanent. The uncut footage dropped that evening, posted from the official show page. Kirk sitting in a meeting months earlier with a producer, saying, I'm not doing another solo show if it means betraying Mendeecees. We doing this together or not at all? The clip went viral instantly. Fans flipped the narrative. Hashtag apologized to Kirk started trending. Rashida even commented a single word. Finally, Mendeecees called him that night. So you really didn't do it, huh? Kirk chuckled tiredly. Nah. Bro, for once I'm actually innocent. Mendeecees laughed. Guess miracles happen. But even as they laughed, new problems surfaced. The VH1 lawsuit had advanced faster than expected, threatening to shut down all distribution of the show. Mona called an emergency meeting. They're serious this time. They want damages and an injunction. If we air the finale again, we risk millions. Kirk leaned forward. So what we do? Mona smirked. We go global. We sell it overseas. Streaming platforms ain't bound by their contracts. Mendeecees looked at her like she was crazy. You really that fearless? She grinned. Baby, fearless. Built this empire. A week later, Second Chance Empire premiered internationally on a major streaming service. Fans from London, Toronto, and Lagos filled timelines with reactions. This is the rawest reality show in years. Kirk and Mendeecees finally showing what growth looks like. Even critics praised the chemistry between the two men, calling it a redemption story with bite. But just as success peaked, another bomb dropped. An anonymous source leaked part of Mona's confidential deal, revealing she was getting double the producer credit money, leaving Kirk and Mendeecees with scraps compared to her cut. When Kirk found out, he burst into Mona's office. So you was playing us the whole time? She didn't flinch. I was protecting the brand. Mendeecees followed behind. NAU was protecting your bank account. Mona crossed her arms. Gentlemen, this is how the industry works. You got fame. I got the framework that's balanced. Kirk glared. Nah, that's robbery disguised as mentorship. She shrugged. And yet you signed it. He pointed at her. Not next time. They stormed out, deciding to launch their own production label, Frost Harris Entertainment. The next morning they announced it live. We taken control of our stories. From now on, no middlemen, no manipulation. Just real life, unfiltered. Fans went wild, support pouring in, comments like this the move we been waiting for. Boss energy. Mona who? Meanwhile, Yandy and Rashida met privately in Atlanta, away from the cameras. Both women tired of watching their husbands fight battles that never end. Yandy said, they chasing empires but losing peace. Rashida nodded. Yeah, and we the ones cleaning up the ruins every time. Yandy smiled slightly. Maybe we should start our own project, show what the women behind the empire go through. Rashida's eyes lit up. You serious? Yandi grinned, dead serious. We'll call it the Queens Behind the Crown. Word spread fast, fans begging for it online. Give Rashida and Yandi their own show. We want the wives version ASAP. Mona caught wind and called them immediately. You really think you can do this without me? Rashida replied, watch us. Yandi added, we learned from the best and the worst. Mona laughed, all right Queens, let's see if you can wear the crown as production on the Queens Behind. The crown began. Kirk and Mendeecees watched from the sidelines. Surprisingly proud Mendeecees said, look at them man running the game now. Kirk smiled, yeah I guess Empire really means everybody eats. Mendeecees raised a glass to second. Chances. Kirk clinked his bottle, and to the queens who keep saving us from ourselves. Both laughed, but just when peace seemed real. Another late-night phone call changed everything. Mona's assistant called Kirk, whispering, you need to see this. Someone leaked unseen footage from season 1, something big, something that could destroy everything. Kirk froze. What footage? The assistant hesitated. The meeting with Araya. Remember that night after the concert, the one we never aired? Kirk's blood ran cold. He muttered, oh no, not that one. Because in that unseen clip something had happened, something that could break every alliance and shatter the empire they built forever. The leaked footage hit the internet like wildfire. No warning, no build-up, just a mysterious drop on a gossip account called Industry Underground with the caption, UNCUT. Kirk Frost caught on camera at 2 a.m. after the concert with Araya. The clip VH1 never aired. Within minutes, it was everywhere, fans reposting screen recordings before it could even be taken down. The grainy video showed Kirk backstage at the finale concert talking to Araya. His tone low, intimate, too close for comfort. She was laughing, touching his arm. The clip ended abruptly, but the implication was enough. Social media went into meltdown. Rashida's name trended instantly. Hashtag pray for RASHEEDA flooded timelines. Rashida found out like everyone else, scrolling through her phone at the boutique. One of her stylists whispered, boss, you seen this? She looked up, confused. Seen what? When she saw the clip, her hands froze midair. She played it twice, maybe 3 times, then stood up quietly. Every time I think we've done with the past, it comes running right back to my front door. Her assistant tried to comfort her. It could be edited. She shook her head. Nah, I know that look in his eyes. That's the same look from 10 years ago when I almost left him. Meanwhile, Kirk was in the studio recording commentary for the next season's trailer when his phone blew up. Mona called first, screaming, what did you do this time? Kirk frowned. What are you talking about? She hissed, the Araya footage. You and that girl look like you were on a date. He stood up, pacing. Mona, I swear to God that footage was from rehearsal. She was showing me her lyrics. That's it, she replied. Tell that to the internet, they already writing your obituary. He threw his phone down, muttering, I can't breathe without somebody twisting it. Mendeecees walked in moments later. Bro, you trending again, and not in a good way. Kirk ran a hand over his face. It's fake, man. They cut it to look bad. Mendeecees sat down. You gonna call Rashida, or wait till she calls you? Screaming. Kirk sighed. If I call, she hang up. If I don't, she say I'm hiding. I lose either way, Mendeecees said, then face it head on. Cameras on, let her hear it from you first. Kirk looked at him. You saying film it? Mendeecees nodded. Yeah, transparency bro, show them all what really happened. Kirk paused, then smirked. You learning from Mona too much? That night, Kirk went live, shaking his head as thousands of viewers flooded in comments, flying faster than he could read. He said, look, y'all saw a clip with no context. That was me giving feedback to Araya about her verse. That's all, no secret meeting, no scandal, no affair. I know y'all love drama, but this time there ain't none to find. Fans didn't believe it. The chat blew up. Liar, always same story. Rashida deserves better. But then out of nowhere, Araya herself joined the live, her face nervous. She said, y'all got it twisted. Kirk been nothing but respectful to me. He's like a mentor. That clip was edited from a full 20-minute convo. They cut everything that mattered. The mood shifted instantly. Kirk thanked her, appreciate you for clearing that up. But before the relief could sink in, Rashida joined the live, too silent for the first few seconds. The whole internet froze. Kirk's voice softened. Baby, you watching? She stared into the camera. I'm watching and listening, and tired of explaining my husband to strangers. Kirk looked down. I know, and I'm sorry again for something I didn't even do, she replied. You might not have done it this time, but I can't keep living waiting for next time. She ended the live, leaving Kirk speechless. Mendeecees found him later in the parking lot, sitting on his car hood, staring at nothing. She gone? Kirk muttered, maybe not yet, but close. Mendeecees said, you did what you could, man. The world just don't let people change. They keep you locked in your worst moment. Kirk nodded. Yeah, but maybe they right. Maybe I don't change. I just apologize better each year. Mendeecees put a hand on His shoulder. Don't say that, bro, we building something real. Second chance. Don't mean perfect, it means trying again even when you tired. Across town, Mona was on a late-night call with Yandi watching ratings spike on her laptop. Girl, they dragging Kirk, but we hitting record numbers. Again, Yandi sighed, you really see dollar signs in every heartbreak, huh? Mona laughed, baby, that's television, pain is profit. The next morning, paparazzi camped outside Rashida's house, catching her loading bags into her car, cameras flashing, reporters shouting, Rashida, are you leaving Kirk for good this time? She didn't answer, just put on sunglasses and drove away. That clip aired on entertainment blogs. Within the hour, Kirk saw it from his hotel room. He whispered, so that's how it ends, huh? Mendeecees said, nah, that's how it starts. If you let it go, it ends. If you fight it, maybe not. Kirk looked up, you really believe in second chances, huh? Mendeecees grinned, bro, it's literally the name of our show. Later that day, Kirk showed up unannounced at Rashida's boutique, the cameras already there because Mona had tipped them off. Rashida turned around surprised, you filming this? Kirk said quietly, nah, Mona filming it, I'm just here to talk. She sighed, you always know how to turn pain into promotion. He said, I ain't here for the cameras, I'm here cause I love you. She looked him dead in the eyes. Then prove it off camera for once. She walked away, leaving him standing alone again. That night, Kirk met with Mendeecees and Mona at the production office. The mood tense. Mona spoke first, this show is officially the biggest thing online right now, but I need to know how we end this season. Are you two still partners, or is this where the empire falls? Mendeecees said, we came too far to quit now. Kirk added, we started this to rebuild, not self-destruct. Mona nodded slowly, then I need closure for the finale. Something raw, real, unpredictable maybe. You two host a reunion, bring the wives, bring Araya, clear the air for the world to see. Kirk frowned. You really want us to turn our heartbreak into content again? She smiled, it's not content, it's closure. Mendeecees muttered, same thing, different label, but Kirk agreed. Fine, one last sit down, but after that, I'm done performing my pain. The reunion special was set for livestream the following weekend. Cameras from every angle. Kirk, Rashida, Mendeecees, Yandi, Mona, and even Araya seated in a circle. Kirk started slow. I know I messed up in the past, but this one ain't on me, and I hope y'all can see that. Rashida stayed quiet for a moment, then said, maybe it's not about fault anymore, maybe it's about peace. I'm tired of fighting battles that don't feed my soul. Kirk reached for her hand, she hesitated, but didn't pull away. The audience gasped. Mona leaned in, and that's the real empire. Right there, not money, not ratings, not fame, but forgiveness. Yandi nodded. Facts, cause, if we can't forgive each other, we stuck repeating the same pain forever. Mendeecees smiled. We've been through hell, but we still standing, Kirk added. And maybe that's the story we were meant to tell from the start. As the live feed ended, millions of viewers flooded the comments, calling it the most emotional finale in reality TV history. But behind the smiles and hugs, as the cameras faded out, Mona's phone buzzed again, a text from an unknown number that read, Season 2 starts with the truth about that night. You know exactly which one. She stared at the screen, her smile slowly returning, whispering to herself, guess. The empire never really ends. Hours after the reunion special ended, the internet was in absolute chaos. Hashtags everywhere. Hashtag second chance finale. Kirkandra Sheda. Hashtag truth about the knot. Trending at number 1 worldwide. Fans were crying, cheering, arguing, dissecting every second of what they'd just watched. But while the world was celebrating what looked like a happy ending, Mona Scott was pacing in her hotel suite, phone in hand, that mysterious text still on her screen. Season 2 starts with the truth about that night. You know exactly which one. She tried calling the number, no answer. She texted back, who is this? Nothing but 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. She whispered to herself, damn it, not again, because deep down she already knew there was only one night that message could be referring to, the night after the finale concert, the night Araya disappeared from set for almost 5 hours. Mendeecees was asleep when his phone started buzzing non-stop. Messages from producers, headlines exploding across the web. Araya goes missing after reunion taping, search underway. His eyes shot open. He called Kirk immediately. Bro, you seen the news? Kirk groaned, half asleep. What news? Mendeecees shouted, Araya's missing, man. She left the reunion early, nobody seen her since. Kirk sat up. Nah, that's crazy. She was just fine when we wrapped. She said she had a studio session. Mendeecees replied. Yeah, well, she never made it there. By sunrise, the story had gone global, blogs running wild with conspiracy theories. Did Kirk's show drive young artist away? VH1 cover-up brewing. Kirk was furious. He called Mona, you need to stop these rumors right now. She answered calmly, I can't stop a storm that's already viral, baby, all we can do is ride it, Kirk snapped. This ain't a storyline, this somebody's daughter, we talking about Mona, said softly, then find her before someone else finds her story first. Hours later, Kirk and Mendeecees met at a small diner outside Atlanta. Both wearing hoodies to avoid cameras, Kirk said, you really think somebody from production leaked that text? Mendeecees nodded, it's gotta be someone. Inside, nobody else knew about that night. Kirk leaned forward, you think she's okay? Mendeecees sighed, I hope so, but if she ain't, this whole empire falls apart. Meanwhile, Rashida sat in her living room scrolling through social media, shaking her head. Every time it's something new, Yandi called her, girl, you seen this mess? Rashida exhaled, yeah, and I told Kirk one day the drama would turn real, I just didn't think it'd be like this. Yandi said, you think he had something to do with it? Rashida paused, I don't want to, but the world already decided he did. As night fell, Kirk got a call from an unknown number. He answered, cautious, hello. A voice whispered, you looking for her? He froze, who is this? The voice replied, check the Old Frost studio downtown, 3 a.m., don't tell Mona. The line went dead. Kirk sat there, breathing heavy. He texted Mendeecees, meet me at the old spot alone, no cameras at 3 a.m. Kirk pulled up headlights, cutting through the darkness, the studio abandoned, dusty, echoing with memories of old music and lost chances. Mendeecees arrived moments later, you sure this ain't a setup? Kirk shook his head, I don't know, but I gotta see. They pushed open the door, the air cold, the silence heavy. Then a faint sound, a phone vibrating somewhere in the corner. They followed it to a couch, a single cell phone lying there, screen cracked, blinking with a missed call from Mama. Kirk whispered, that's Araya's phone. Suddenly, footsteps echoed from the hallway. Both men turned. A shadow moved closer. Mona stepped into the light, holding a flashlight. So y'all found it too, huh? Kirk stared. You knew about this? She said, I got the same message as you, but I didn't trust it alone. Mendeecees said, so where is she? Mona hesitated, that's what I was hoping y'all could tell me. They searched the building room by room. Nothing but dust and old posters, until Kirk noticed a small memory card taped under the soundboard. He peeled it off. You think this hers? Mona said, only one way to find out. Back at her office, she loaded it onto her laptop. The screen flickered and then there it was, grainy footage, timestamped the night after the concert. Araya, sitting in a chair, tearful, her voice trembling. I know they gonna twist my story, but I want my truth out first. Kirk been nothing but supportive, but somebody on this team been using me, promising deals for silence. I can't take it no more if anything happens to me. Just know it started inside Frost Empire. The video cut off mid-sentence. Silence filled the room. Kirk's face went pale. She said, inside Frost Empire, that's our company. Mona said, that means somebody close to you. Both Mendeecees clenched his fists. We need to find her before the blogs twist this into murder headlines. Mona nodded, already too late there. Halfway there by the next morning, Frost Empire scandal was everywhere. Reporters camping outside Kirk's restaurant, police showing up to ask questions, fans divided again. Some defending him, others calling for his arrest. Rashida refused to leave the house. Paparazzi outside her driveway. She told her assistant, I can't do this again, not another scandal, not another lie. Mendeecees tried to handle damage control, appearing on live interviews, saying, we're cooperating with authorities. Our goal is to bring Araya home safe. That's all that matters right now. Kirk stayed silent for 3 days until finally posting a video. I didn't hurt that girl. I tried to help her when nobody else would. I won't let the media destroy everything we built. Not this time. His eyes looked broken. The internet didn't care. They just kept watching. 3 days later, police found Araya in a motel outside Savannah, alive but shaken. She told them she left because she was terrified someone was watching her. After the leak, she refused to name who, but confirmed the message on the memory card was real. Kirk and Mendeecees drove down to see her. She agreed to meet off camera. Her first words, y'all really think I'd run for clout? Kirk said, no, but you scared the hell out of us. She looked at him. I was scared to somebody in that crew playing both sides. Mona listened carefully, recording every word. Baby, we gonna get to the bottom of this. But until then, no cameras, no press. We handle this quiet. Araya nodded. Just don't let them twist my story again. Kirk promised, not this time. I swear. Back in Atlanta, Mona met with executives discussing season 2. She told them, we don't even need scripts anymore. The show's writing itself. One exec asked, so what's the new angle? Mona smiled. Betrayal, redemption, survival, everything reality TV dreams of, they asked. And the title? She grinned, Second Chance Empire. The truth about that night. As Kirk drove home, he looked out at the city lights, reflecting off his windshield. muttering maybe the empire never ends because none of us ever really learn. Mendeecees texted him season 2, finna be wild huh? Kirk replied, yeah, but this time I'm playing for redemption, not ratings. He didn't know Mona had already drafted a new tagline for the promo, every empire hides a secret and next season the truth won't stay buried. The next morning Atlanta woke up to sirens and camera flashes. The news vans lined up outside Frost Bistro like vultures, reporters shouting questions. Kirk pushing through the chaos, sunglasses on, jaw-locked microphones swinging inches from his face. Kirk, did you pay Araya to disappear? Is Frost Empire being investigated? Did Rashida leave for good this time? He ignored every one of them and went straight inside, locking the doors behind him. Inside his phone buzzed non-stop messages from Moana, Mendeecees, and even VH1 executives wanting statements. Kirk just stared at the screen, whispering to himself, they'll twist anything they touch. Mendeecees showed up a few minutes later, hoodie up, voice low. Bro, this going beyond gossip, they bringing in lawyers. Now Kirk looked up lawyers. German Aria's mama filed an official complaint saying her daughter was exploited by production. Kirk groaned, we tried to protect that girl, and now we the villains again. Mendeecees said we can't talk to the press till Mona clears it legally. Kirk slammed his fist on the counter. Mona only clears things when it helps her ratings. Mona was already 2 steps ahead, sitting in a high-rise office downtown surrounded by a team of publicists and attorneys. She said coolly, we control the story or it controls us. Issue a press release. Frost Empire stands for empowerment, not exploitation. Spin the narrative toward mental health awareness and redemption. Her assistant nodded, typing fast. Should we loop Kirk and Mendeecees in? Mona smiled. Not yet, let them stay reactive. The more emotional they look, the better the story reads. By noon her plan was working. Blogs were calling the situation a courageous stand for transparency, while others dubbed it the biggest cover-up in reality TV. The hashtag truth about that night had hit 50 million views, but Kirk wasn't celebrating. He called Rashida. Again, no answer. Finally, she texted, stop calling me until the world stops calling me his wife. He read it twice, put the phone down, and stared at the empty restaurant that once symbolized their hustle together. Later that evening, Mendeecees convinced him to do a sit-down interview for a streaming documentary crew, hoping to set the record straight. They sat in front of bright lights, cameras rolling, the producer asking softly, when did you realize the empire was turning into a war zone? Kirk leaned forward, when I stopped knowing who was real anymore. Mona's real when the camera's on, VH1 real when the check's clear, everybody else playing a part, including me. Mendeecees added, we started this to show growth, but all they want is the old us, the scandal version. Kirk looked straight into the lens. If redemption don't sell, they'll sell your downfall instead. The raw footage leaked that same night. Within hours, the internet called it the most honest moment in reality TV history. Kirk's words hit differently, fans writing he finally woke up, others saying too late for redemption. Rashida saw the clip on her phone late that night and whispered, he still don't get it, it's not the world, he has to prove it to, it's me. A few days later, Mona hosted a private meeting at a luxury hotel. She invited Kirk, Mendeecees, Rashida, Yandy, and even Araya to officially settle everything before season 2 filming. The energy in the room was ice cold. Kirk spoke first, so this what it's come to. Contracts before conversations. Mona smiled tightly, baby, conversations don't pay the bills, contracts do. Rashida cut in, maybe you should try compassion for once instead of chaos. Mona turned to her, oh please sweetheart, chaos built your brand. The table erupted, everyone talking over each other, until Mendeecees slammed his hand. Enough, we either rebuild this or bury it right here. That silence was heavy then. Araya spoke, trembling, I just want peace. I never wanted to be famous like this, I wanted music. Kirk nodded softly, you'll get it, I'll make sure of that. Mona leaned back, and that right there is season 2's opening scene, redemption arc, in full motion. Kirk glared, you still thinking in episodes while we thinking about lives? Mona replied, because that's the only way to survive this industry. After the meeting, Mona stepped outside to her car alone. Her phone buzzed, another unknown number. You think you've buried it, but the full video still exists. Wait for the drop. She froze, typing back, what video? Reply came instantly, the real footage from the night Araya recorded her confession. You only saw half. The next morning, every major platform carried the headline, mystery footage promised to end Frost Empire. Kirk woke up to dozens of missed calls. Mendeecees texted, they got another tape. Kirk wrote back, not again. A few hours later, the clip premiered on a gossip channel viewed live by millions, the missing half of Araya's confession. Now visible, she said through tears, Mona told me if I kept quiet I'd get a solo show next season. She said Kirk didn't need to know anything, I trusted her, but everything got twisted. The internet exploded. Mona trending worldwide, accused of manipulation, exploitation, and lies. Mona called her lawyers immediately. Damage control mode now. One attorney asked, "You want to deny?" She replied, "Deny nothing, twist everything, tell them it was a pilot test for a spin-off, expose reality manipulation in real time, make me the genius again." Her assistant whispered, "You really are fearless." She smirked, "Baby, fear is for people who don't run networks." Kirk and Mendeecees held a joint press conference that evening. Kirk said calmly, "We built Frost Harris Entertainment to give artists a voice, not to silence them. If mistakes were made, we'll own them, but we won't carry sins that ain't ours." Mendeecees added, "This isn't about TV anymore, it's about truth." Reporters shouted questions about Mona lawsuits, Rashida's absence. Kirk just said, "The empire's changing, and everyone who tried to control it, about to feel the shift." That night the ratings for the leaked footage broke every record in streaming history. Mona watched from her penthouse balcony, glass of wine in hand, city lights below, whispering to herself, "They think this destroys me, but it just greenlights my next season." She turned to her reflection and smiled. Season 2, Revenge of the Queen. Across town, Kirk sat in the dark, scrolling through fan messages, some forgiving him, some calling him cursed. He finally texted, "Rashida, no cameras, no producers, just us. If you still got space in your heart for one last try, meet me at the bistro tomorrow noon." She didn't reply immediately, but minutes before midnight a single message came through, "No promises, but I'll come." Kirk put the phone down, exhaling deeply, the city outside buzzing with rumors and bright lights. While somewhere far above it all, Mona was already drafting the tagline for the next chapter. "Every empire falls, but some queens rebuild from the ashes." The next day the Atlanta sun rose hot and merciless over Frost Bistro. The same place where years of love and chaos had unfolded. Kirk stood inside, straightening the tables by hand. No cameras, no crew, no script. For once he wanted reality without the TV attached. Rashida walked in quietly, sunglasses on her face, unreadable. He looked up. "You came," she said flatly. "I said I would." He smiled faintly. "That's more than I deserved." She crossed her arms. "So what's this, Kirk? Another scene, another speech, another round of sorry?" He shook his head. "No cameras, no lies, just me asking you to hear me one last time." She sat slowly. "Fine, talk." Kirk took a deep breath. "I know I've said sorry so much, it stopped meaning anything, but I ain't chasing fame anymore. I'm chasing peace. I'm tired of being the villain in my own story." Rashida stared. "You always say that, then you sign another contract, and it all starts again." He nodded. "You right. But this time there is no contract." Frost Harris. "Done. I pulled the plug." She blinked. "You did what?" He smiled quietly. "We shut it down yesterday. We walked away from Mona, from VH1. From all of it." She didn't believe him at first. "You walking away from the empire you built?" He said, "Baby, it was never an empire, it was a cage dressed like one." Before she could reply, Mendeecees walked in, phone in hand. "Bro, you might want to turn on the TV." Kirk frowned. "Why?" He handed him the phone, showing a breaking news headline. "Mona Scott announces new show. The Queen's Revenge, featuring Yandy and Rashida Frost." Both froze. Rashida's eyes widened. "What the hell?" Kirk looked at her. "Please tell me, you didn't." She cut him off. "I didn't sign anything, I swear." Mendeecees sighed. "She used old footage and your name, that's enough to sell the teaser." Kirk slammed his hand on the counter. "That woman don't quit." Meanwhile, Mona was in New York doing interviews, smiling for cameras. "This new project will show the women's strength beyond the drama. It's not revenge, it's reclamation." When asked about Kirk, she just said, "Some people need chaos to stay relevant. Others create legacy." The crowd laughed and clapped back in Atlanta. Kirk paced. "She trying to divide us again. She knows if we fight she wins." Rashida said, "Then don't fight, prove her wrong." Kirk looked at her. "You mean we work together again?" She smiled slightly. "No, I mean you finally listen when I say enough is enough. No more public pain, no more scripted apologies. If we start over, it's off screen." He nodded. "Done. No lights, no producers, no Mona, just us." Later that evening, Yandy called Mendeecees. "You see the new teaser?" He groaned. "Yeah, she using your face too." She said, "Every clip I ever shot, she owns my life on hard drive form." He replied, "Then maybe we take it back one episode at a time, our own way." Yandy smiled. "You serious?" He said, "We start something new, truth uncut, no edits, no network. A YouTube series from our phone's raw life as it happens." She laughed. "You trying to go indie, huh?" He grinned. "Nah, just free." While they planned Mona's empire, began cracking backlash mounting, fans calling her Manipulative petitions trending VH1 executives distancing themselves. She tried to spin it. They don't hate me, they addicted to me, but even she knew the storm was real, sponsors dropping deals. Shows pulled from schedules. She stared at her reflection, whispering, how quickly they forget their queen. The next week, Kirk and Rashida uploaded a quiet video to social media. No flashy editing, no background music, just them sitting in the restaurant. Kirk said, we done performing pain, from now on it's about rebuilding real life. No scripts, no producers, just us sharing what healing actually looks like. Rashida added, we not perfect, we not pretending to be this time, we living it for real. The video went viral not because of scandal but because of honesty. Millions of views within hours, fans commenting, finally, something real. They look peaceful. Mendeecees and Yandy followed with their own uploads. Simple vlog-style clips showing family moments, cooking, laughing, talking about forgiveness. Within weeks, the hashtag reality unplugged took over the internet. Creators everywhere copying the format, calling it the Frost-Harris blueprint. Mona watched the trend grow, furious, calling her assistant, they stealing my formula. The assistant said, no ma'am, they just took the truth you hid. She fired him that same minute. 3 months later, a new headline appeared. Streaming platform offers multi-million deal for Frost and Harris family docuseries. Kirk smiled reading it. Look at God, we went from lawsuits to legacy. Rashida said, don't jinx it, just keep it honest. This time he kissed her forehead. Honesty, the new currency, baby. Meanwhile, Mona sat alone in her office surrounded by awards and fading headlines. Her phone buzzed. One new email from an unknown sender. Subject line, the unedited Araya confession, full version. She hesitated for a long moment before opening it. The file began to play. Araya's voice trembling, they all think it's over, but there's still one thing nobody knows about Kirk Frost and Mendeecees Harris, the real reason Frost Empire was created. The clip cut off abruptly. The screen went black. Mona sat frozen, whispering, Lord, not again. She looked out the window at the skyline, smirking through the fear. Guess every empire gets a sequel. And somewhere across Atlanta, Kirk's phone lit up at the exact same moment. Unknown number, new message. Season 3 writes itself, don't it? He stared at the screen, heart pounding, muttering under his breath, not this time, then shut the phone off, walked outside into the warm night, hand in hand with Rashida, the sound of the city still buzzing around them. But for once, he didn't look back, because for the first time in years, Kirk Frost wasn't chasing the storyline, was finally living the truth. Weeks passed since Kirk and Rashida stepped away from the cameras. And for a while, peace actually felt possible. The late nights at Frost Bistro were quieter. Now just the two of them, cleaning tables, laughing soft under dim lights. No crews, no producers, no fake storylines. Kirk would joke, see baby, we doing reality the right way now without reality TV. Rashida would smile, yeah, till Mona finds a way to drag us back again. He'd chuckle, not this time, I'm ghost to her world. But peace never lasts long in their universe. One Sunday morning, as Kirk scrolled his phone over breakfast, a new headline popped up. VH1 announces documentary, The Rise and Fall of Frost Empire. With unseen footage and shocking claims from insiders, his blood ran cold. Rashida walked in, still half asleep. You look like you seen a ghost. Kirk turned the screen toward her. She read it slowly, then whispered, she's doing it again. Kirk slammed his phone down. She just can't let go. She feeding off us forever. Rashida said, then let her eat, but we not serving her another bite. Meanwhile, in New York, Mona Scott sat across from a major network executive. This new docuseries is my redemption arc, she said confidently. The audience will finally see how I built those stars from nothing, and how their betrayal nearly ruined me. The exec smiled. As long as it sells, we don't care who looks like the villain. She smirked, good, because I plan to look like the queen who survived the coup. When the teaser trailer dropped, it broke the internet again. The narrator's voice, dramatic, behind every empire lies a secret, and behind every success, a betrayal. From exclusive tapes to untold confessions, Frost Empire was never what it seemed. Flashes of Kirk yelling in old footage, Rashida crying, Mona slamming a door, Yandy shouting, I'm done. Millions of views overnight, comments exploding, fans saying, here we go again, they can't ever stay quiet. Kirk watched it in silence, jaw tight. She using 10 years of my life like it's her movie reel, Rashida said. Let her show whatever she wants. Truth, don't scare clean people. He nodded, but deep down he felt that familiar pull, the urge to defend himself, the need to explain. He muttered, every time I walk away she finds a new way to pull me back. A few days later, Mendeecees called him, bro, you seeing this documentary nonsense? Kirk sighed, yeah, she trying to resurrect old ghosts again. Mendeecees said, Yandy told me they offering money for interviews. I told them, nah, I'm done talking. Kirk replied, same, but if she drops something fake again, I might have to clap back. Mendeecees said, nah, bro, silence hits harder, they can't twist silence. Kirk thought about it then said quietly, maybe you right, but silence never paid my bills. The premiere aired Friday night. Millions tuned in. Mona, narrating her own story, painting herself as misunderstood. Visionary Kirk as ambitious but reckless, Mendeecees as loyal but easily influenced, and Rashida as the long-suffering wife holding a crumbling empire together. Halfway through the episode came the twist. Leaked voicemails from a mystery insider accusing Kirk of hiding a financial scandal during Frost Empire's rise. The next morning, every headline screamed Kirk Frost accused of mismanaging artist funds during Frost Empire era. Kirk threw the remote across the room. She really did it. She turned business stress into crime drama. Rashida put a hand on his shoulder. Don't let her win, you know the truth. He said the truth. Don't trend. She looked him dead in the eye. Maybe not, but integrity does eventually. Within days, Mona's show dominated every trending chart, but something unexpected started happening. Fans began digging deeper, finding inconsistencies in her story, old contracts, old behind-the-scenes footage proving her manipulations. Influencers started calling her out. One popular blogger posted, Mona didn't build Frost Empire, she exploited it. The tide slowly turned. Kirk started getting messages again, fans writing, we see you now, bro, they've been playing you for years. Mona responded the only way she knew how. By doubling down, she posted a clip of herself at a reunion panel saying, if they didn't want to be seen, they shouldn't have signed up to be seen. But the comments flooded with backlash. Nah, queen, you lost your crown. You built monsters. Then cried victim, time's up for manipulation TV. A week later, Kirk and Rashida sat down with a new journalist for a Tello interview. The journalist asked, if you could say one thing to Mona right now, what would it be? Kirk said, thank you for teaching me the cost of fame. Now I know my piece priceless. Rashida added, we all played the game, she just forgot when to stop. The episode aired quietly, but fans adored it, calling it closure at last. Frost Bistro was busier than ever, people lining up, not for gossip, but to support the couple's new beginning. They launched a podcast soon after called Beyond the Empire, where they talked about healing, marriage, and media manipulation. It became a hit, topping charts within weeks. Kirk joked on air, we used to trend for fights, now we trend for growth. Rashida laughed, growth finally paying the bills, huh? Mendeecees and Yandy joined for a crossover episode titled Truth Unfiltered. They laughed about the old days, shared behind-the-scenes stories, and teased a charity project together for young creatives trying to break into music. The vibe was warm, genuine. The fans loved it, comments flooding in, this the energy we needed, finally black love and business done right. And yet far away in her penthouse, Mona watched their success with a glass of champagne, whispering, let them have their piece for now. Peace makes great bait for chaos. Later, she picked up her phone, scrolling through a folder labeled Season 3 Raw tapes. A smile spread across her face. The world's not done with the Frost legacy yet, they just forgot who really wrote the script. But for the first time, Kirk didn't care. He stood on the restaurant patio later that night, looking out over Atlanta, lights reflecting in his eyes. Rashida beside him, she said, you thinking about her again? He shook his head, nah, I'm thinking about tomorrow, maybe. We build something that's ours for real this time, no producers, no puppets, just people. She smiled then, that's the real empire, right there. He nodded quietly, yeah, the one nobody can cancel. And somewhere far away in a quiet edit suite, a video began uploading, automatically scheduled by someone anonymous, titled The Final Truth. What Kirk Frost Never Wanted aired. Countdown, ticking 5 hours till release. No one yet knew that the Empire's quiet might only be the calm before its loudest storm. 5 hours later, the countdown hit 0 and the video titled The Final Truth. What Kirk Frost Never Wanted aired exploded onto the internet. The thumbnail alone was enough to ignite a firestorm. Kirk's face frozen mid-expression, a blurred shadow of a woman behind him, and the words exposed footage leaked in bold red text within minutes. Millions were watching, the comments section filled with shock, disbelief, and chaos. The video opened with a deep robotic voice saying the truth they all tried to bury starts here. Then came the footage, grainy night vision from an old Frost Empire camera, timestamped 3 years earlier. Kirk in the studio, pacing, shouting into his phone, I don't care what Mona says, this label's mine, I built it, I'll move the money how I want. The clip cut to black, followed by another one showing Kirk signing papers in a dimly lit office. The narrator said sources claim these documents show secret fund transfers from Frost Empire accounts to private ventures under Kirk Frost's name. Social media went insane. Hashtags like #FrostLeak, #Empire exposed, #Kirk money scandal filled every platform. Kirk was asleep when his phone started blowing up again, hundreds of missed calls. Texts from producers, from Mendeecees, from Rashida. When he finally answered, Mendeecees' voice was panicked. "Bro, wake up, you trending #1 worldwide, and not in a good way," Kirk groaned. "What now?" "Somebody dropped old footage of you talking about moving money, they saying you stole from the label." Kirk sat up, heart pounding. "That's out of context, that was from when we were fighting VH1. For unpaid royalties, that's my money," Mendeecees said. "You better explain that fast before the world decides for you." Within an hour, every blog was posting pieces of the leak. Analysts breaking down supposed financial irregularities, gossip shows speculating about fraud. Rashida called from her boutique voice. "Tight Kirk, tell me this ain't what it looks like." He exhaled. "Baby, I swear that was business talk, nothing illegal," she said. "I've defended you through everything, but if this turns out to be real, I'm done for good," then hung up before he could answer. Meanwhile, Mona Scott watched from her office in silence, replaying the video frame by frame. She didn't release it, but she instantly recognized the footage. It was from her archives, stolen from Frost Empire's early shoots. Her assistant said, "Should we issue a statement?" She smiled faintly. "No, let them drown a little. Sometimes the best revenge is quiet observation." By midday, reporters were outside Frost Bistro again, microphones flashing. Kirk stepped out wearing a hoodie pulled low. "No comment," was all he said before driving off. Mendeecees met him in a private parking lot. "Bro, who got this footage?" Kirk said it had to be someone from the old team, only they had access. Mendeecees looked serious. "You thinking Mona?" Kirk shook his head. "Nah, this one feels personal, somebody inside trying to finish what they started." Across town, Araya was live on Instagram crying, "They using me again, I didn't leak that video. I just wanted peace." Fans flooded her comments. "Girl, they blaming you, say, who did it?" She wiped tears. "I can't, I'm scared," before logging off abruptly. That clip alone trended with 1 million views. Later that night, Kirk met Rashida at their house, cameras waiting outside. They sat in the dark kitchen. She whispered, "Why every time we rebuild something it burns again?" He said quietly, "Because some people hate to see us fixed, they addicted to our chaos." She replied, "Or maybe the universe just keeps testing if we really learned." He reached across the table. "I'm tired of being the test baby, I want to be the lesson." While they talked, Mona's phone buzzed again. Unknown number, just one message. "You didn't drop it, but you'll take the fall for it anyway." She stared at the screen, whispering, "So someone's coming for me too." The next morning, law enforcement issued a statement confirming a financial investigation into Frost Empire's old accounts. Reporters went wild, paparazzi trailing Kirk everywhere. Mendeecees called. "Bro, they serious? You need a lawyer now," Kirk muttered. "Already on it, but this ain't about money, it's about control, someone trying to destroy every good thing we built." 2 days later, another clip surfaced, this time showing Mona herself on the phone saying, "If the Frost scandal drops, I wash my hands clean." Fans realized both were targets. The internet turned theories into war camps. Team Kirk versus Team Mona versus Team Araya. Chaos ruled again. Memes, edits, reaction videos, millions of views per hour. By the end of the week, Kirk decided to take control. He went live on his channel, tens of thousands watching. "I've been painted as every villain you can imagine, a cheater, a liar, a thief, but the truth is simple, that footage is from years ago. When we were fighting for ownership of our art, the money moved was ours, the network owed it, I ain't steal nothing. I built everything." His voice cracked. "If y'all cancel me this time, at least cancel me for the truth." Comments flooded. "We believe you, stay strong. They scared of your truth." Rashida joined him on camera halfway through, touching his shoulder, saying softly, "This time we fight smart, not loud." The fans cheered. Queen energy. "We stand this love story." Behind the scenes, Mendeecees tracked the source with an old contact at VH1. Turns out, the leak came from a rogue editor who'd sold archived drives to a gossip outlet for cash. Mendeecees called Kirk immediately. "Bro, I found the snake," Kirk said. "Who?" Mendeecees hesitated. "You might wanna sit down? It's one of Mona's former assistants, the same one who disappeared with footage years ago." Kirk laughed bitterly. So Mona's mess came back to haunt her, and it did within hours. Headlines changed focus. Former Mona Scott employee arrested for illegal data sale. Suddenly the narrative flipped from Kirk's scandal to Mona Empire under investigation for data breach. Mona's lawyers scrambled. She held a press conference trying to clear her name. "I had no knowledge of this leak, my former staff acted independently, but reporters pressed. You profited from these archives, didn't you?" She smiled, I profit from storytelling, not stealing. By that night, Kirk and Rashida sat watching the chaos unfold, the internet now turning against Mona again. Kirk whispered, see what I mean? Empire always eats its queen first, Rashida said. Then let's not build empires anymore, let's build homes. He smiled, finally words I can live by. But the peace was fragile still at 3 a.m. Kirk's phone buzzed one last time, an email with a video attachment, subject line. The footage they didn't find. He hesitated, hit play, and froze instantly. The screen showed him years ago walking into a studio shaking hands with a shadowy man saying deal's done, nobody will trace it back. The clip cut off abrupt, but the implication deadly. Kirk whispered to himself, what the hell is this? And somewhere far away on a rooftop, overlooking Atlanta, a figure in a hoodie watched the video upload counter hit 98%. Whispered Season 4 starts now. The night everything exploded, Kirk Frost sat on his patio staring at the glow of Atlanta's skyline. The world below him still arguing, still twisting, still hungry for drama, but for the first time. He wasn't angry, he was just tired. He looked down at his phone. The notifications never stopped, but the noise didn't feel loud anymore. He exhaled slowly and said to himself, let them talk, the truth always catches up even when the world don't want to hear it. This was bigger than a scandal now, bigger than Mona, bigger than VH1, bigger than the Empire. It started with ambition but ended as a warning. Fame was never free, it always asked for something back, and tonight, Kirk finally understood the price. In another corner of the city, Mendeecees Harris scrolled through messages from fans, some calling him loyal, some calling him naive, but all still watching. He smiled softly. They still care, that's what matters. We gave them our pain, and somehow, they found pieces of their own in it. He turned to Yandi, who sat beside him, sipping tea. You ever think we'll be done with this life? She laughed. Done. Baby, this life never ends, it just changes scripts, we just gotta make sure we, the ones writing it next time. He nodded. Yeah, next time we own the story from frame one. No cuts, no edits, no producers, just truth. Rashida, meanwhile, was in the studio recording a new track, her voice raw, honest lyrics, echoing they made me the villain now, I'm my own hero. The engineer leaned over. That's fire, you really talking your truth? She smiled. Nah, I'm talking everybody's truth. Anybody who ever been played for ratings and still stood tall, this one for them. She hit play again, her voice filling the booth with quiet power, and while the world speculated and blogs screamed new theories, the fans, the real ones, knew they'd just witnessed something deeper than gossip. It wasn't just about Kirk or Mendeecees or Mona, it was about what happens when fame eats family, when production replaces prayer, when contracts choke connection. It was about how hard it is to tell what's real when every emotion has a camera pointed at it. So as Kirk and Rashida rebuilt quietly, the message became clear. Sometimes, walking away is the loudest statement you can make. Sometimes silence tells the story better than any headline, and sometimes redemption isn't about proving you're innocent, it's about choosing peace, even when the world wants war. And to every viewer who stayed through the chaos, every fan who clicked, every skeptic who doubted, every believer who prayed, this story was never just entertainment. It was a mirror, a messy, beautiful reflection of ambition, love, betrayal, and survival. Maybe you came for the gossip, but somewhere between the scandals you saw people fighting for their souls in a system that profits from broken ones. So if you made it this far, watching their journey unfold from the rise to the ruins and maybe back again, here's your part now. Don't just scroll, don't just watch, be part of what happens next, because this story isn't over, not by a long shot. The Empire might have fallen, but the lesson's still standing, and yes, you get to decide what that means. Hit that subscribe button if you believe in second chances, not just for Kirk, not just for Rashida, not for Mendeecees or Yandi, but for yourself. Because we all got our own empire to rebuild, our own mistakes to face, our own truths to finally tell. Hit the like button if you've ever been misunderstood, if you've ever been blamed for something you didn't do, if you've ever felt trapped in someone else's version of your story. Drop a comment below and tell us what you think really happened that night. Was the leak part of a setup? Did Mona plan it, or was someone else pulling the strings? Do you think Kirk's final video proves innocence or something darker? Your voice matters, because this channel isn't just about watching stories, it's about building a community that questions everything: fame, power, truth, all of it. Share this video with someone who still believes everything they see online, because maybe they need to see that behind every exclusive headline, there's a human being trying to breathe. Behind every breaking news alert, there's a family trying to hold on. Behind every camera flash, there's a heartbeat that just wants peace. And to everyone who's been riding with us since the first episode, since the first twist, since the first betrayal, this right Here is your reminder that nothing in this world stays buried forever. Truth always finds its light, even if it takes seasons, even if it takes tears. Even if it takes the whole world turning on you first. So stay tuned, because even though Frost Empire may have burned down, the ashes still glow somewhere, and every time a story ends another begins. Maybe next time it won't be about scandals or leaks. Maybe next time it'll be about rebuilding from scratch. Maybe next time we'll all see what happens when love finally wins over ratings. And to the ones still watching this at 3 a.m. trying to piece it all together, remember this: life ain't a show, but sometimes it feels like one. And if you've ever been through something that made you feel like your world was collapsing, remember, even empires rise again when they're built on truth, not fame. So before you go, before you click away, take 1 second to breathe in the drama. Breathe out the noise, hit that red subscribe button, because we're not done yet. More secrets, more redemptions, more truth, more heart. And yes, more shock, because this world doesn't sleep, and neither do we. You won't want to miss what's coming next, because the truth about that night might not be the truth at all, and the next episode might just change everything. This is your moment to choose what side you're on: the watchers or the believers, the gossipers or the truth seekers, the ones who cancel or the ones who forgive. Hit subscribe right now, join the story, because no matter how wild the empire gets, the realest power will always belong to the audience. You